Ladies and gentlemen, there's a CNN article. Conservative retired federal judge calls GOP spineless in scathing rebuke of Trump. The same template for an article has been published thousands, literally thousands of times the past 7 years. A person who's a conservative, well, definitely there's thousands upon thousands of Democrats being outraged at Trump. Even though we had record low poverty with Trump, record highs in household median income, there's zero rebuttal to that. It's just yet an amazing economy. Real wages are up, real wages are down now, poverty is up. A great foreign policy where he emphasized bringing Americans home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. But let's just focus on this. The Supreme Court will eventually overturn all of these indictments. Whether or not he's convicted, he'll probably get convicted in a D.C. court by a D.C. jury and a New York jury. Jack Smith will go 0-3. He lost the John Edwards case. He lost the Bob McDonnell case, the Virginia governor in 2016, unanimous reversal. And in 2024, because that is the title here, in 2024, the Supreme Court will look at all of these before people go to the polls and choose between mashed potato brains. I think Hillary Clinton will be the nominee, if you ask me. And Donald Trump, okay? Was your life better under Trump or better with mashed potato brains, Joe? Okay, so you decide. You decide. But anyway, conservative retired federal judge. So the interesting thing about this article is that the inability to delineate between media, an obsession media has, and Democrats and loyalists within the U.S. government leveling the U.S. government at Donald Trump, indicting him out of pure malice, political expediency, nothing to do with the rule of law, allowing private servers. The precedent should be anything less than private servers, you don't get indicted. But with Trump, boxes warranted indictment, whereas Clinton had servers siphoning classified data outside the U.S. government for 4 years that allegedly President Obama didn't know of, and of course he knew. Of course President Obama knew, just like, of course, Attorney General Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton didn't speak about golf and Brexit right before they decided not to charge Clinton, okay? It's interesting, you never get the fact check, the obsessive 50 articles for fact check, when they make the most outlandish statements. You just have to believe them. But he didn't obstruct justice, so they're going to charge him on obstruction almost certainly. That's what this article talks about, okay? So they have him in New York indicted under the stupidest allegation that he broke campaign laws within the state of New York. Oh, accounting, not even campaign. He broke accounting laws. But these are Democrats going after Trump. If the reverse were true and you had Republicans in a red state going after Clinton or Hunter or Bill or Joe, immediately Democrats would say, oh my God, they're politicizing justice, just like they're going after Judge Cannon in Florida. Of course they're going after. If it's a Clinton or a President Obama appointed judge, no problem. But if it's a judge that actually was appointed by Trump, who sided with Trump, oh my God, we can't have that. The rule of law is being tarnished. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel right now. The conservative retired judge calls GOP spineless. First of all, the Republican Party is not why it's not why the majority of the 70 million, or I should say 20 or 30 million, not the majority, but it's not why a good percentage of the 70 plus million that Trump got voted Republican. If you just had a conservative Republican like Jeb Bush or Chris Christie or Trump's vice president Pence, you would never, it wouldn't even be close. Okay? The reason that they're indicting Trump is they can't defeat him fair and square. So they indict him obsess over him, make him this monster, this otherworldly being that commits crimes all the time while they cover up their own crimes, while they suspend and ban the New York Post on Twitter. So what political side is composed of the despots and authoritarians? They have the media narrative. They level the United States government at their political rivals. Trump did not commit a crime. It was Clinton and the DNC fined by the FEC, the federal government, not Trump. Then they say, well, classified data, he shouldn't have had the records. He had the power to declassify. So you don't go after a president with the power to declassify, and guess what? As vice president, Biden did not have the power to declassify, so of course they're going to investigate him after he leaves the Oval Office. The third issue is obstruction, which all three the Supreme Court will throw out whether there's a conviction. I don't think the classified data will be a conviction. I think it'll be a mistrial. But the obstruction issue in January is the following. There was no crime Trump committed. You want to say, oh, well, he was irresponsible. Okay, that's even I will say I'm voting Trump. I think that he's the best president of my lifetime for a number of reasons. The only president to focus on bringing Americans home, which I know the morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats don't care about. It's not even within their radar. They just don't care at all. And then they feel morally superior. But anyway, we had an amazing, fantastic economy. Every demographic group was making more money than ever. Record highs in household median income and a record low in poverty. So when you hear like an imbecile on the left saying, oh, yeah, Trump abandoned the working class, the working class, if you want to use that phrase, did much better under Trump than any other president in recent memory. But anyway, and you can see what's taking place now. Poverty has increased. The obstruction issue is a non-issue. He didn't obstruct any investigation. Number one, he wasn't guilty of a crime. It's very difficult to obstruct an investigation when he's not even guilty of a crime. They're not even going to get him on a specific crime. Okay, they tried to get him. It's interesting. They said initially that he was going to get obstruction charges. And there might even be some obstruction issues within the indictment, but they said initially, well, obstruction. He obstructed the classified data case. Clinton actually gave hardware that was destroyed. Like, her team actually obliterated hardware, and that wasn't viewed as obstruction. But there was no obstruction in January. It was a terrible day. Shouldn't have had it. He should have known that he's not going to get treated in the same manner. He should have known, Trump should have known after 4 years of the government turning on him that day wouldn't have been, that day would the possibility of something terrible taking place that day could have happened. Now, he should have known that there was a possibility, a good possibility, that something really terrible might have taken place. He didn't orchestrate it. It wasn't an attempt to overthrow democracy from Trump's perspective or from the Republican perspective on that day. The entire summer was $1 to $2 billion in property damage, mayhem, chaos. And so, but see, again, the optics, Democrats have a memory span of like 2 seconds. So that entire summer never happened. It was just spontaneous. And again, I agree with why people demonstrated, but not the $1 to $2 billion in property damage, the 14,000 arrests, and the 19 lives lost. That was absolutely terrible. And media and Democrats were complicit in their words and their inability to even condemn what was taking place. Their refusal to condemn what was taking place. It was a terrible day, though, in January. One day, not an entire summer of chaos and mayhem that Democrats felt that they benefited from politically. And you have a situation where they say, well, we can't get him on organizing a plot to overthrow the country because, of course, that didn't happen. Not even close. So they say, well, he prevented us from investigating the plot. Again, that will be thrown out. Of course, he'll be convicted in D.C. and New York, very likely. He'll be thrown out by the Supreme Court. He'll be 3-0, and the government will be 0-3, or Democrats, I should say, media will be 0-3. Give me